Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Avery Crochets, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make this super cute granny square pumpkin, or as I like to call it, the harvest granny square. Don't forget, if you like this video, to please like and subscribe so I can continue to make cool, fun tutorials for you guys and share a little bit of my crochet life with you. I wanted to share with you guys the final product of 20 crochet granny squares that I made using this pattern. It looks like a beautiful fall/harvest, hence the name, themed blanket, and I think it turned out super cute. So like I said, if you guys want to make this blanket, the pattern is available for purchase on Etsy, or you can take the granny square pattern that I've given you here and make up your own blanket with it. Without further ado, let's go. So this is the pumpkin granny square that we're going to be making. I'm going to show you step-by-step instructions to do each row in this pattern. So let's begin. You're going to need a crochet hook, some scissors, a stitch marker, and a sewing needle for this pattern. You'll also need 3 colors of your choice. I used orange. This is almond from Burnout Blanket and taupe from Burnout Blanket. So for round 1, we're going to begin by chaining 4. So make a slip knot. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then slip stitch into that starting chain. And this will give us a circle here to make our first round into. Now, a couple of tips. If you find it difficult to do round 1 into this starting circle, you can either A, make the starting chain longer. So here I'm going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and slip stitch back into the starting chain. And this makes my circle bigger to work more stitches into. If you found it difficult, you could also try chaining 6 as well if you need it to be even bigger. Or you could try working a looser tension to have more space in your chains. We're going to begin round 1 by doing 8 puff stitch, chain 1. So let me show you what that means. So you're going to do your first puff stitch, wrap your yarn around, put it in the circle, and pull up a loop. You want to kind of pull up a little bit so it's a little bit loose. That way your puff stitch isn't too tight. Wrap your yarn again into the loop, grab the yarn, pull it through, make it a little bit loose, and then do it one more time like that. And then you want to have 7 loops on your hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you're going to take your yarn and pull it through all 7 and chain 1. So we're going to repeat this 7 more times for a total of 8 puff stitches. So 1, pull through and chain 1. So we have 2, and chain 1. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the very last one, you can see it's getting a little bit tight, but you should have enough room to do it here. Okay, and finish with the chain 1. And we're going to finish our round 1 by slip stitching into that first puff stitch that we made here. So you're going to slip stitch into that first puff stitch. Okay, and now you can double check. You have 8 puff stitches by counting them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you want, you can add a stitch marker into your last chain stitch to help you remember where to stop at the end. But it should be pretty obvious in this pattern because of how it's worked. Before we go on here, I want to note that round 2 to round 6 are worked into the chain 1 spaces that we make between each puff stitch. So make sure round 2 to round 6, we're working only into these chain 1 spaces between each puff stitch that we make. So those are chain 1 spaces. You should have 8 in round 1. In round 2, you're going to work puff stitch, chain 1, puff stitch, chain 1 into each chain 1 space from the previous round. So let me show you what that looks like. So we're going to work a puff stitch here, and chain 1, and then we're going to repeat that into the same chain 1 space, and chain 1. So you're going to repeat this 8 times. Well, no. You're going to repeat this 7 times to get a total of 16 puff stitches all around for the second round. You can think of it as a increase round if you're used to amigurumi. So we're getting to the end. I'm going to work my last increase into this chain 1 space. Okay, and you're going to finish with the chain 1, and then we're going to slip stitch into the starting puff stitch, like so. And I'm going to put my stitch marker in that last chain 1 space that we made. So you know round 2 was done properly because you should have 16 puff stitches or 16 chain 1 spaces that we're going to work the next round into. Now we're going to do round 3, which will be puff stitch, chain 1 into the first chain 1 space. Then in the next chain 1 space, you're going to do puff stitch, chain 1, puff stitch, chain 1. So essentially you're doing 1 puff stitch and then an increase, 1 puff stitch, then an increase. So let me show you. So first, chain 1 space, we're working puff stitch, like so, chain 1. And then in the next chain 1 space here, we're going to work our puff stitch, chain 1, and then another puff stitch, and chain 1. Now you're going to continue this pattern all the way around, and I'll see you at the end. So I'm working my last puff stitch into that chain 1 space, and then I'm going to finish with a chain 1 and then slip stitch into that starting puff stitch. And again, you could put a stitch marker here in the last chain 1 space that we made. So now that we've finished round 3, we can actually fasten off our orange because we're all done our pumpkin. You want to leave a long enough tail that you can weave in your ends later. So I'm going to begin the next round in the spot I left a stitch marker in, but really you could begin anywhere, it doesn't matter. But I'll start here. So you're going to insert your hook into that chain 1 space that we have and pull up a loop of your border color. And what I'm going to do is I will do 1 single crochet here, or a chain 1, which will represent my 1 single crochet. Okay. And we're going to repeat around 1 single crochet, chain 1, then 2 single crochet, and that will be our repeated pattern around. 1 single crochet, chain 1, 2 single crochet, chain 1. We're actually going to do 1 more single crochet, and here, before we do our next chain 1, we're going to color change to make the stem. So you're going to take your stem color. For me, I'm using taupe from Bernat Blanket. I'm going to chain 1 with it, and then in our pattern, if we continue with the 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, we're going to do a 2 single crochet into the next chain 1 space, But what I like to do is carry my previous color behind. So what I mean is you're going to insert your hook into that chain one space like normal, and you're going to crochet around the border color. So I'll do 2 single crochets here, 1, 2. So notice I've crocheted around that color. This way I don't have to fasten off, and it just makes my life easier when I weave in my ends. You're going to finish your stitch, and then I'm going to leave my tail end of taupe. So again, I'll save it for the next round and I'll work with it later. I'm just going to drop it, not fasten it off. And now I'm going to chain 1 in my border color again. And I'll continue the pattern around of 1 single crochet, chain 1, 2 single crochet, chain 1. So because I just did a 2 single crochet, I'll continue with 1. So chain 1, 2 single crochet. Chain 1, 2 single crochet. And you're going to repeat that all the way around into the chain 1 spaces from the previous round. I've just finished round 4, and I'm going to put my stitch marker into the last chain 1 space. I've gone ahead and done a slip stitch into the first, in this case it was the first chain 1 that I counted as a single crochet. And at the end of this round, you should still have 24 chain 1 spaces that we're going to work the next round into. Because we don't do any increases with our chain 1s in the previous round, we actually start the next round with, again, 24 chain 1 spaces. In round 5, we're going to finish off our stem, so we're still going to have a color change here, and we're going to continue with puff stitches again. In our first chain 1 space, we're going to do a puff stitch. Oops. And a chain 1. And in the next chain 1 space, we're actually going to do puff stitch. I lost my puff stitch there. Try that again. We're going to do a puff stitch and a chain 1, and then another puff stitch. So we're doing like an increase in that one. Now I'm going to pick back up my stem color, and I'm going to pick it up and leave the border color in the front because we're going to work around it again as to save us from tying ends later. You can totally fasten off if you find it easier, but I'm going to carry my border color. So you're going to go ahead and pull up 1, that counts as our chain 1. And then in the next chain 1 space right here, it's kind of hard to see. In this next chain 1 space, we're going to do a puff stitch. And notice I'm working around the yarn I carried over and the border color. So you're working around the 2 yarns here with a puff stitch. Chain 1. And then you're working into the next chain 1 space with another puff stitch. Notice I'm still working around my border color. So I'm going to drop my stem color before I chain 1. I'm going to fasten it off, leaving a long enough tail. And now I'm going to pick back up my border color with a chain 1. And now we're going to continue working around with puff stitch, chain 1, another puff stitch in the same chain 1 space, like an increase. Oops. And chain 1. Then I'm going to do puff stitch, chain 1, and then puff stitch, chain 1 into the next chain 1 space. So essentially you're doing increase, single puff stitch, single puff stitch, increase, single puff stitch, single puff stitch around. And I'll see you when we get to the end because we'll have to fix the pattern at the very end. So as we get to the end here, you're going to finish with the second to last chain 1 space. You'll do a puff stitch, chain 1, and a puff stitch, chain 1, and then into the next chain 1 space, we'll remove our stitch marker because it's the last one, and we'll just do 1 puff stitch and a chain 1. And I'm going to finish with a slip stitch into my starting puff stitch there. And then I will leave a stitch marker in the last chain 1 space that we have. So you may notice that your piece might curl a little bit. That's normal. Once we have it completed and we sew everything together, it depends what you make, it'll flatten out. Round 5, you should finish with 32 chain 1 spaces. In round 6 and 7, we're going to begin making our square shape. One thing to note, that at the start of each round, we're going to be doing a chain 2, and this will count as 1 double crochet in the round. To begin round 6, you're going to do a slip stitch into the starting chain 1 space, chain 2, that counts as our first double crochet, and then do another double crochet into that same chain 1 space. Now we're going to continue into the next chain 1 space with 2 half double crochets. So 1, 2, and then into the next 3 chain 1 spaces, you're going to do 2 single crochets. So 1, 2, in the next space, 1, 2, and then the next space, 1, 2. Continue into the next chain 1 space with 2 half double crochets. In the next chain 1 space, 2 double crochets. And now we're going to start our first corner with a treble crochet. And again, another treble crochet into the same chain 1 space. Now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then you're going to work 2 more treble crochets into the same chain 1 space. So 1 and 2. So essentially, we have 4 treble crochets and a chain 2 between them to start our first corner. Now we're going to work into the next chain 1 space with 2 double crochets. Oops. Then the next one, 2 half double crochets, followed by 3 of the next 3 chain 1 spaces. We'll do 2 single crochets into each one. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. Now we're going to go and do 2 half double crochets, 2 double crochets, and then we're at our next corner. So you're going to do treble crochet, treble crochet. So we've done 2, chain 2, and then 2 more treble crochets into the same chain 1 space. So now we have our other corner. So you're essentially continuing this pattern around until we get back here to make our square shape. I'll go ahead and show you for each step because this can be a bit tricky. So in the next one, 2 double crochets. In the next one, 2 half double crochets. Oops. Then in the following 3 chain 1 spaces, 2 single crochets. Okay. Then 2 half double crochets. 2 double crochets. And then in this next chain 1 space, it's another corner. So we're doing 2 treble crochets, chain 2, and then 2 treble crochets. And continue with 2 double crochets. In the next chain 1 space, 2 half double crochets. And then in the next 3 chain 1 spaces, 2 single crochets. Followed by 2 half double crochets. And 2 double crochets. And we're going to finish in our last chain 1 space here with a corner. So that's 2 treble crochets. Chain 2. And 2 more treble crochets. Then you're going to do a slip stitch into the starting chain 2 space that we have. And you can go ahead and put a stitch marker into our last stitch there. And this is how our square should look so far. At the end of round 6, we should have 72 stitches to work into, not counting our 2 chains that we did in each corner. To begin round 7, it's important to note that this is the only round that we're going to be working into the actual stitches. We do not have any chain spaces except for our corners. So we're going to work this round into the actual stitches, and of course the corners will be made into the chain 2 spaces. Round 7 is pretty simple. Begin with chain 2. This is our first stitch. And then all you're going to do is do a double crochet into each stitch from the previous round, except for when we get to the corner, and I'll show you when we get there. So now that we've reached our corner or our chain 2 space from the previous round, you're going to do 2 double crochets into the chain 2 space, followed by chain 2, and then again 2 double crochets. Now you're going to continue this all the way around, a double crochet into each stitch, and then in the corner 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. And then I will meet you back to the end. Finishing round 7 here with my last 2 double crochets. And then you're going to slip stitch into that starting chain 2 space. Now we can fasten off, leaving a long tail for sewing in our end or weaving in our end. The last thing I'm going to do is show you how to securely weave in your ends, because when I made my first blanket, I did not do this properly, and it definitely fell apart. So let's do this strand here. I'm going to thread my sewing needle like so. And you could honestly tie a knot with another end, or if there's not another end, just tie it into the fabric. And what you want to do is you're going to go through maybe 4 or 5 loops, preferably in the same color. So I'm going back into the orange. Pull through. Then you're going to skip the first loop that you had woven it through, or the last loop, I guess, in this case, and weave it back through the way you came. You don't have to pull it super tight, but make sure it's secure. And that's it. Now I'm going to fasten that off. And you can repeat this for all of your ends. And this is how it should look when it is all done. So congratulations if you've made it this far. Hopefully that means you've completed your Harvest Granny Square. I know it was a little bit challenging, but once you get the hang of it, it definitely gets quicker with each square that you make. And as I said, if you want to support me and maybe you want to try making this granny square pattern into a blanket, you can purchase the blanket pattern on my Etsy. The link will be down below. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye guys.